Hey guys, welcome back to the Human Condition. I just want to start off by saying thank you guys again for all the recent support. I really appreciate you guys. It means a lot to me. I feel like we're finally growing as a channel. So it's cool to see the channel growth, and development. I feel like we're kind of finally growing together. And as each video goes, we can hopefully grow and improve. So I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. Um, in this video, we're going to be talking about it's another video in our philosophy series, and this is I think I'm going to call it what are the 7 core philosophical mindsets, or what are the 7 main philosophical mindsets. The reason I say mindsets instead of beliefs is because I feel like these 7 are more seen through like actions, and beliefs are like deeper than these 7. But these 7 things I'm about to talk about are kind of important, but they're not as strong potentially as beliefs, at least in my opinion. So the 7 core, and this is Stoicism, existentialism, pragmatism, utilitarianism, and rationalism, and cynicism. And those are the final 3 of the 7. I think this is a pretty interesting concept. So the reason I said there were 7 philosophical mindsets is because I feel like this is my opinion. They kind of like a spectrum. You start with cynicism, then you work your way up to existentialism. It's kind of cool. I think each mindset is unique and can teach you something valuable from each one. So, for example, cynicism would sound negative, and basically, starting off with that one, is cynicism is kind of a pessimistic view. However, it's a realistic view. So that's the pro and con to it, kind of. You kind of see the world as people are negative. However, you also see the world for what it truly is. And I feel like I kind of agree with this one. I wouldn't say usually most people relate to one of the most. Me personally, I feel like I relate to Stoicism the most. But I feel like every person can relate to every one of these mindsets a little bit, and fluxes and changes a little bit. But with cynicism, you see the world kind of like the realistic and harsh way it kind of is, and you view the mindset of kind of staying close to nature and kind of pushing society away, seeing society as a problem. It's connecting deeply to your roots and your natural emotional state, and kind of being away from society. It's kind of and viewing people as more corrupt and kind of deceitful, I guess. And the society, it's a game of like it's a deeper game than what it truly presents itself as, and that's cynicism. Then you work your way up to all the way up to existentialism, which is a little bit more, I guess, positive view, in my opinion, of society, and that's life. These people don't believe life's meaning is in making your own meaning. So life's meaning is to make your own meaning. Meaning, there's no inherent meaning. At least these people believe. Not sure if I agree 100% with this. I feel like there is an inherent meaning, but they believe that there is. You make your own meaning. There's no inherent meaning, and this is why I'd say it's the exact opposite, because this is how society's made as a whole. For example, most societal things come from people trying to add meaning to life, and that is why I kind of view it as a spectrum. It starts with cynicism, kind of completely different with society, indifferent to society, and views people kind of negatively, but also a pro realistically. Whereas existentialism views people idealistically. However, there might be inherent meaning behind life, but we just don't. But again, that's the idea of philosophy, is like, it's questioning things. So working our way up to the second one would be Stoicism. Stoicism still is a little bit more into society, a little bit. However, they value self-denial, discipline, and developing virtue. So they believe using your emotion combined with logic and reasoning, you should deny your own self to a certain extent, and they believe this helps build discipline. And I kind of can understand that in a way. I mean, as long as you don't do it too an extreme, and I kind of understand like why self-denial in a way can build discipline. So I feel like that's kind of a cool. They're kind of stoicisms are kind of like the cool lit people who kind of seem brooding and um like strong and like may not show a lot of emotion but feel a lot of emotion. I feel like that's kind of a cool philosophical mindset, stoicism. Developing virtue and kind of can see the flaws in society but not to the extent of cynicism. And trust people to an extent but trust themselves more. That's stoicism, in my opinion. I could be wrong. The next one would be pragmatism, and they view life as based off life experiences. So this is kind of like the most balanced one, right in the middle. So they view do what you do in life, what you seem, which is reasonable and which makes sense to you. And they believe actions are based off intent less so than consequences, meaning you should take when someone does something that's wrong, you should take into consideration more than the fact that it's wrong, but you should take into consideration their life experiences and what made them act the way they did and why they did what they did, and kind of trying to take a balanced approach to it. That's pragmatism. It's more a balance between more of the emotion-based stoicism and or like more of the independent-based stoicism and cynicism, but more of the less of the structure-based as existentialism and all unilateralism and existentialism. So it's kind of right in the middle of the spectrum, I think, in my opinion. Then after that, you got rationalism, and this is the idea that one doesn't matter, kind of different from pragmatism. It's like kind of like doesn't matter. Actions are right and wrong no matter what the life experience is. So pragmatism might want to take into they do something wrong. They might want to take in consideration the impact that their personal experiences, what could have caused them to do something. Whereas a rationalist might view it, I see that, but it might we have to judge off the action, not the reason behind the action, or more so, what was the thinking behind it, not the feeling behind it, and not the life experience, but how was it the action taking place and how everything behind it. So they might think more not life experience based, but more just like logic based behind things, in my opinion. And then you move up to but also think about, and it's more individual based still, and it's more like when you take actions, think logically about things, and that's how you like do things based off the rationalism mindset. And then the one I have a hard time pronouncing, unilateralism. That one's so hard to say for some reason for me. Basically, this is a mindset of do actions are based off consequences, just similar to rationalism. However, rationalism is more individual based, whereas this one is more do what's best for the greater collective and the greater good. And it's more like people have responsibility to, very different from cynicism, right? People have a responsibility to each other, to help each other, and to do what's best for the greater good. So almost like give up yourself for the greater good. That's the one that we're talking about right now. That's this one also. This one is similar to rationalism, as in judge people based off the action, the thing they did, not why they did it, type of thing. And finally, you have existentialism, and that is the meaning of life is to make your own meaning. And these are people who come up with a lot of new ideas, at least in my opinion, because they're trying to always add meaning to life. Whereas if you're cynicism, you might have a hard time building a legacy in society because you push it away. So that's the opposite. That's why I think cynicism and existentialism are both important. And cynicism for introspection, but existentialism for making an impact in society, I guess, in a way. I mean, you probably could still cynicism, but that's the two opposites, I think. Existentialism, make an impact. Cynicism, reflect deeply about yourself. So yeah, this is the 7 core mindsets of philosophy, in my opinion. Again, I know there's a lot of important things in philosophy. However, these are the 7 core ones I thought were really interesting mindsets that I wanted to share with you guys. As always, thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe if you want. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.